So before jumping into the Oracle database, the reason behind everyone is looking for only Oracle. Why not other? Because we in the market we are having a lot of softwares like SQL DBA, Oracle DB2 DBA, IBM's product, and even we have many other products also. But still, why only Oracle we are looking for this product? So one more thing I want to, before jumping into the Oracle product, I want to give some idea over the what database is. Okay. Okay, what database is, like how it is, like old legacy systems, how it, like we don't have the softwares before, so we are writing everything, we are writing every stuff into the manually into our notebooks, and there is no specific software for storing the data. And the problems with the stuff is, the reason behind of coming this database or anything will come into the picture, only the reason behind this, there is no proper usage of data, because it's like in the legacy systems how we are having, like hey Suleiman, are you able to see my screen here, right?
Yeah, I just want to mention maybe one thing, just quick one. If you can like explain to me in a way that I've never been working like in IT field, because I did like manual testing, and manual testing is so different than Oracle DBA. So you assume that I don't have any kind of experience, zero experience in like in Oracle.
Yes, Suleiman. That's why I want to tell you. That's the reason I'm giving you from. I start with the legacy system itself, like how the whole system is, and what are the changes that has been done from the last 20 years. How this Oracle or any software comes into the picture for storing the data, and what are the basic steps they have taken before they are implementing the softwares into the market. So I'll start like that stuff. Okay. So that's the main reason. So in the legacy systems, you know, right, how the scenarios is, we don't have any softwares at that point of time, because it's a very old time, that is in the 1980s. If we take an example, at that time, if we are storing any data, there is no place or any storage to be storing the data. Okay, so even all the information will be stored in the form of documents only, right? Yeah, in the form of documents means that in the form of papers or something like so documents in the form of. So there is no, at that point of time, what happen if we keep on information, like if we take an example of any hospital, if we want newly joined babies, we want to know who are the newly joined babies in the year of 1980. Okay, so at that point of time, what happened, we will go to the hospital or any government agencies and ask, hey, can you please provide my son's or any small baby's date of birth of 1980s time, right? So what happened at that point of time, it is very difficult for the agencies or government agencies or hospitals to give the child's data, right, of 1980. The reason behind this, those data is very old data, and the storage is somewhere like in any some in other government agencies location, like in the physically they are keeping those documents in the somewhere locations, right? And we are not sure also, are they give the proper output to us, because it is a very older document. They have to search each and every paper, each and every document manually. Yeah, so at that point of time, it is a very long time taking process, and at the same time, more manual resources are required to search the document. Right? So at that point of time, what happened? So see, now you can understand the time taking process. The process of time taking is very long time, and the places where we place the papers, maybe in the physical location, maybe those papers will be, that means those documents will be damaged probably, right? And maybe it will take long time for them to search the papers, right? And also the information, whatever we are asking them, the information they have replying or they have given back to us, maybe it is not the real data. Right? So these are the main problems which may be causing okay, to loss of the data and many more resources using and time taking. These are the main three basic conditions which everyone is facing. So at that point of time, these softwares or these things will come into the picture, like, okay, see, now I am giving the example. You can see here. So you are able to see my screen here, right?
Yeah, perfectly.
Yeah. So what are the main basic things which will be making a problem is physically storing the data. That means storing the data means we are physically storing the data in the some locations, like in some physical rooms. Okay, these physical rooms, and more manpower is required. To search the data, right? And more manpower is required, and probably they may not give the actual data or expected data. Because the reason behind is, if they tried to find out the information in the physical locations, that particular documents, whatever we are asking, if those documents will not be available into their respective locations, what they do next step, they want to give the, maybe there is a chance of giving the wrong data to us. Yeah, wrong data to us. That is the main problems in the legacy systems. That means the older systems in the database scenarios. Okay, so to avoid this concept, okay, there is one process which comes into the picture for storing the data into the database. Okay. Are you okay? You are able to understand, right?
Yeah.
The main problem is physically storing the data in the physical locations, and more manpower is required to search the data, and there is a chance of giving the wrong data which is expected. Okay, because of there is no data available in their respective locations. So to avoid this concept, this database will comes into the picture. We'll see how the database will comes into the picture. What will split the words data plus base. Okay, so here if we divide the words, if we split the words data plus base, here you can see here this data means information, right? This data we are storing in some base. Okay, base means any operating systems, like we are having more number of, if we are having one house, we are physically locating in one house, that means our house is the base for us, right? While we are constructing any house also, there is a specific building first base they will develop. After that they will start creating the rooms, everything. That means base is the one where we are keeping the data, or where we are storing the data in physically in other operating systems. Okay, in other operating systems means that would be either Linux operating system, or that would be the Solaris operating system, or that would be the Windows operating system. Any operating system we can take. Okay, that means physically we are storing the data in any operating systems. Okay, that is called database. Before, in a legacy systems, here there is also database is there, but the data is physically located in some locations, physically in the form of documents. Okay, and which is very time-taking process, and which there may be not having the proper information also. Simple. If any run or anything stuff will comes in the picture, automatically these documents physically locating in their respective locations, those documents will be gone, right? So we are not having that. But here in this case, this is not the way. Here in this case, we can store the data physically in any other operating system. Okay, so and it will help us to see the data all time. Okay, and also here in the database, IBM is the main product. IBM company. Okay, IBM company will comes with a language called SQL. Okay, what that SQL is? Structured query language. Okay, so what now we are talking about, we are storing the data, right? The storing the data means we are storing the data in the physically in an operating system, but that data we need to read, right? Yeah, before keeping the data into the operating system, the data is in the form of these text notepads, this text file. Okay, if we want to know the information of one person, about one person in a text file, it is very difficult because we need to read it in the paragraphical order, right? One by one, one by one, one by one, one by one. If we read like this, we'll go everything, right? Where this person's information is there, we have to search each and everything before, right? But if after IBM produces the product called structured query language, they have developed a language called structured query language, which will help all the customers to can see the all data in one glance. That means the structured query language main reason we can divide it. We can split the words. What structured query language also? Okay, structured query language. See, structured query language means, here you can see structure means there is a specific structure, okay, for the query, because we are searching for a word for a person name into the document. But here in this case, IBM is developed a language called, you can ask me, you can store all your data into my database and you can ask me the query like what is the person name. Okay, then I will develop a language called structured query language. I will give you the name in the form of rows and columns. Okay, rows and columns means you know the table structure, right? Rows, and first there columns, and in that we are having the rows, like we are having employee name, department, which department he is, and his surname, employee ID, right? These details we want to see, we want to know who are the employees in the company who is having more than 1 lakh salary, or who is having more than 10,000 salary. Okay, if we want to know those kind of stuff, it is very, very important, because company information means we are having like we are having the resources, or we are having the company people in the company, almost 10 lakh people are there in a company. So it is very difficult for us, right, to understand what is the employee person name, because we need to go to each and every person and we need to collect the information. Is it very hectic and it is very difficult, right? Yeah. So the company, it is very easy if we use the language called structured query language. IBM give the product like, hey guys, no need to worry about these kind of stuff. I'll develop a language called structured query language. By using this language, you just query me. Who is the employees having more than 10,000 salary. I'll give the output. In that way, they developed a language called structured query language. That means the rows and columns are in the form of a structure, and if we are asking the query, we can give the output to them in the form of rows and columns, right? That means it's a very, very simple English language. They have developed this product in the English language, and they are producing to us, to the customers. Any doubts here?
No, this is very good.
Yeah, perfect. So this is what, okay, this is what columns and rows, this is the structured query language. Now it is fine. So the company is having the 10 lakh people in a company, and we can find each and every person name. Okay, and each person, each employee in the company is working in various departments, right? We can take an example of marketing department, okay, and we can take the example of HR department. We can take the example of testing department, okay, and we can take an example of software development. So these are different various kind of domains in the company as where all the employees are working. So we need to find out who is the person working in the testing department. Okay, so there we can able to find out by querying select employee from, like this is the query. You can see the sample query here. Select employee name from the testing. Then we'll get the output like who are the employees from the testing department. Okay, this is the basic, very simple structured query language. Now if that any one of the employee is left the company, okay, and we are having the finance department also, right, in the company. So here you can see by querying a simple, okay, select EMP underscore name from testing department, we are able to see the employees who are in the testing department, right? So some ex-employee, any employee in the company, he left the company, but it only knows to the testing department, but not other departments. Okay, so this kind of information they don't know about to the finance department, because finance department are the people who are giving salaries to all employees in a company, right? So who are giving or who are paying salaries to all the employees. Okay, so this testing person department, some X person is left the company. So we don't have the information of this particular X employee left in the company from various departments, for various departments. The reason is there is no communication in between the departments. And also there is no communication between the finance department and testing development department, because testing department is having the manager. He will go to that physically to the finance department and is updating like this particular ex-employee is leaving the company. Okay, if they are not updating this information, what happen? This finance department are paying the salaries every month to the person who left the company.
This would be nice.
Yes. So what happened? We are getting the salaries every month for this person, even the person is not giving any service to the company. In this way, the companies are losing their money. So, yeah, to avoid this concept, to avoid these problems, Oracle come up with a solution, okay, or with some process called RDBMS. RDBMS means relational database management. Now you can split the words what relational database management system is. Okay. Okay, now till now we are talking about the database, right, where we are keeping the data in some physically in any operating system, right? Database means. And now this concept is we need to manage the data. Okay, that means we are management of the data, whatever is there in the database, right? But there should be some physical or any logical relation in between the database. That means the process of relating the information, because here we are facing the problem of there is no communication in between the departments. Okay, if we are having the relation between the departments of different like HR, testing and software and finance departments, if any of the person or if anything is updated, almost in all the remaining domains it has to be updated. So what happen if once we know that this person left the company, automatically that kind of updated information will comes to the finance team, right? Because there is a relation between the remaining departments. In that way, they have produced a model called relational database management system. That means in a database, whatever the data is there, in the data, if any update, any kind of data is there, then there is a form of relation called where it can be updated in all the remaining locations. That means it has been updated in the remaining departments. So this kind of process is called relational database management system, which has been started by the Oracle. Okay. So now in this way, the legacy systems can be transformed into the newly developed system, that is called relational database management system. Okay. So now this is fine. So we are keeping the data and we are maintaining the relation between the data, and now we are having different softwares into the market to store their data. Like we are having 10 lakh people in a company is asking us, please maintain the complete information of these employees. Okay, so we need to have some software to keep this data, right? Because physically we are storing this data here in the form of notepads, because I am writing every information here. Is there any security here? No security, right? Anyone can see my document and can able to see the information. But the data of the company should be very secured. We should not give access to anyone other than the people who are having the privileges. If everyone is seeing this information or any company's information, there is a theft or there is a chances of taking the main information, right? So to avoid that kind of stuff, these softwares like we are having in the market, like Oracle, SQL Server database, and we are having DB2 DBA, like we are having many companies comes into the picture. Like we are storing your information, like storing the Oracle is the software. Oracle developed a software called Oracle developed a software called this database management system, Oracle software, which helps to store the client's data. Okay, and in the same way, the SQL Server is also the software which help to store the database into their operating system, and in the same way DB2 DBA. Okay, as you are aware of these things, Suleiman, Oracle software, SQL Server software, and DB2 software, have you heard about before these softwares?
Yeah. I work a little bit in DB2, I work a little bit in SQL, I work a little bit of SQL.
Yeah, SQL. Okay, so can you please tell me the difference, what Oracle and SQL Server is, and what SQL Server and what DB2 is?
SQL Server is a Microsoft tool. DB2 is an IBM tool. It's more advanced than SQL Server. And Oracle is just Oracle. Okay,
so right. So SQL Server is the Oracle product, Microsoft product, right? So here the main reason why most of the people are choosing the Oracle product, I will give you the example why the reason behind is. Okay, the SQL Server is the IBM product. Is the Microsoft product. Okay, is the Microsoft product. And what Microsoft people is doing is they always forces the client are allowing the client to keep their data into their operating system only.
Wow.
We can't keep our database other than Windows operating system.
Wow. Okay.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the problem here is, if any sudden reboot is happen, that means the machine operating system, any reboot is happen, it will take time to come back and the system will becomes up and running. So that means here our database is sitting on this operating system called Microsoft Windows operating system. Because the base here is the operating system. If the operating system itself is not good, because we are seeing many flaws into this operating systems, and we are seeing many errors also, and I think you also face it sometimes in the Microsoft operating system, suddenly it got rebooted. Yeah, that means if it suddenly got rebooted, means whatever the database which sits on this operating system, this will also goes down. At this point of time, if the database is not available to the end users, like if we take an example of any bank's database, if that database is not available to the end users, automatically what happen? Customers will be affected. That means business will be affected. If the business will be affected for any bank, there is a chance of bank losing their customers. Right? So even if we take an example of ours also, if we do any transaction at that point of time, if the database is not available to us to update our transactions at that point of time, if we are facing this type of problems or a couple of times or more than couple of times, what happen? We will try to go for other bank. That means indirectly the bank is losing us. That means indirectly they are losing the customers, indirectly they are losing the business. That's why clients are very choosy. Clients are very choosy and banks are very choosy where we can keep our database and which operating system we can keep our database, which can be available all time up and running. That is the main area where all clients are worried about. Okay, so here DB2DB, as you know very well, as you said, this is IBM product, right? And moreover, IBM product is fine. As you know, what are their servers? IBM AX servers, right? AX servers are their own servers, and IBM is also marketing their product, marketing their DB2 database product in the form of like, if you take my database or if you install my software and if you want to keep your data in my database operating system like DB2 DBA, at that point of time I am giving my servers to you, AX servers for you as a free. So at that point of time what happened? Only the clients, they can keep the DB2 DBA databases or clients information in the DB2 DBA databases, but their base, their operating system is only AX. Okay, so and here if you come to the Oracle is also having their own operating system called Solaris, right? Because they acquired Solaris Sun Java. Okay, and they are having the Solaris also. But what the Oracle, the main benefits and the main advantage of everyone is choosing for the Oracle, the reason is they are come up with different solutions, and we can install the software, we can keep our database in any operating system, like we can keep it in Windows, or if that is client's choosing, we no need to worry. Like we can keep it in Solaris, or we can keep it in HP Unix operating system, or we can keep it in IBM AX servers. Anywhere, any base we can sit our database. But Oracle is always preferring like how can we keep our database all time up and running. Okay, and they also developed and they also come up with solutions called ASM, that means automatic storage management, which is not dependent on the operating system. That means this ASM, automatic storage management, which is the IBM's product, where we can store the data in multiple ways, and we can store our information in a redundant format. That means redundant means we can keep our data, client's data, in multiple locations which is having the same information. The reason behind is, if we lost one data and we are having the other replica to be able to connect to the end users. In that way also, they also come up with keeping the database in different location, in different operating system. If one operating system will be down, then end users will be able to connect to the other operating system. That means they are able to other servers where the same database it sits, and which will be able to connect all the users, end users, to this database, and they can do their transactions updated every time, at all the time. And also they are also developed with the concept calls, and they also come up with a solution, one more concept called RAC, Rail Application Cluster. Okay, it's an advanced topic in the Oracle database. Okay, so clustering means we are having the database is one location, complete data is one location, and we can have the multiple instances. I will come back about what instance is later. Okay, but try to understand now. Okay, like multiple instances are there, so where the end users can be connected to any single instance, and these instances will be redirected into the database. So even out of those, any instances are down, we can able to connect to by using the different instances. That is called real application cluster. So in this way, Oracle is keep on day by day. They are implementing lot of changes, which makes our product will be available to the end users all the time. Okay. As of now, you understand, right? Any difficulty, any doubts here?
So far it's so good.
Okay. So this is what the choosing of Oracle developed softwares. Now, my question is, why you want to get into the Oracle DBA? What is the main reason behind?
Well, I was working in New York at one time with Google. I was working as a data architecture, but as to say, I was not really a data architect. I was doing more like an entry job for and to put me in that department, and I was interacting with them, and I see how precise their job and how important their job. That at the same time they cannot basically outsource this job overseas. You have to have these people in the company because these all sensitive, very sensitive information. So that's why I see the pay rate for them is very high. Their status in the company are the best at Google, and their job is kind of fun too to do. It's not like a developer all day he's writing code and this and that. They have some free time, and they can, they interact with developer. They know. And as I said, like when I was working for Google, I was working with the database architecture, and my product was kind of database architecture, but I was doing like more to say into like the QA side. But at the same time, I was writing code and then see how they do their job. I really like it. At the same time.
So right now I understand your scenario. So you want to become a database architect level. You want to understand what exactly happened into the database, right?
Yeah, first I want to be a DBA, and maybe in the future.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, so let me tell you how the applications will connect to the database. Okay, so now you can see how the application people will connect to the database. What is the process for that, right? So firstly, as end user, we are connecting to one application, right? Like if I take any flight booking site. Okay, so end users are first come to this site to book a flight. Okay, so what happened exactly? This is application server. Okay, next our information will go to the, this is the end. First, this is end user. application. Okay, once end user will connect to the site, flight booking site, then we are having a middleware called application server. Okay, so in this application server where it is having the multiple URLs here, that means multiple application URLs here. Okay, so once user is connecting to any one of the application which is related to a flight booking site, next it will go to the one more tier called, it's a 3-tier architecture called Oracle database tier. Okay, this is 3-tier architecture. Like first end user is connecting to the application. Okay, next end user application will be redirected into the middleware server called app server. This app server will redirect to the Oracle database. Okay, but here there are many processes in between, like we are having one more server, web server is also there. I think, have you heard about this web server? This web server will the one which will check whether the user who is logging into the system is the privileged user or not. Okay, after the web server it will check everything is fine of the end user, then it will be redirected to the application server. Once application server will be fine, once the application server will be open, this application server will redirect to the Oracle database. That means here where the data is storing of clients, right? Here the end user information will be storing into this Oracle database. There you can see, suppose if any end user is booking a flight, that means inserting operation is going on. That means insertion is going on about their flight, right? And once it will go to the application server, and the information will be flown to the Oracle database. Their end user information will be stored in the database. Right? So when our end user wants to know the flight status, flight timings, any updates in the flight related things, then he will do the select operation. When our end user is selecting the operation, that means any end user is logging into the application here, then it will redirect to the application server. This will redirect the information to the Oracle database. There we can do the select operations and where we can take the information. Okay, that means flight information, everything. It's like all DML operations, any user related information, all this kind of stuff will be end of the day it will be storing into the Oracle database, and by using this middleware we can get back the data. Okay, that is what. Okay, this is the process how end users will be connecting to the application server. And but here you can see that you can suppose if you are trying to book a flight, okay, and at that point of time application server, we are connecting to the application server, but we are not able to connect to the Oracle database. There may be the chances of due to the network also, right? The network problem. If the network is not good, there may be a chances, because sometimes you are facing the issues like whenever you are doing the transaction at that point of time, it is taking long time and it is telling us timed out, connection is timed out. These are the network problems, and as a database administrator we should be in a position to analyze if there is any network timeout operating or any issues are there, this kind of issues. We should intimate or we should inform to the network operating system like these kind of issues are facing by the end users, so please take care. This is also database administrator task. Okay, now you can see my PowerPoint presentation here. This is what introduction here, and this is actually we are having different versions in the Oracle database. This is the legacy version where I want to give you a proper idea about what is Oracle 9a database. As I told you, right, we are having multiple softwares in the market. This is one of the Oracle software product, which is old 9a version, and after that now it is 12c is running, that is 12 cloud is running now. After 9a means ninth number is 9, I is the internet version. Okay, after 10G, 10 is the one next upgraded version from after 9A, that is 10G grid operating system, and after that 11G is also comes into the picture. Now in the market 12C is going on, that is cloud computing.
Which one we gonna learn? Are we gonna learn 12C or 11G?
11G.
Okay. So
Yeah,
how much percentage company they using 12G?
12C as of now only, as I see, only 15 to 20%. Most of the clients are not using. As of now, everyone is using 11G only. The reason behind is all the clients now, what Oracle is doing is they are keeping all the databases in the cloud itself, not in the operating system. So every client is thinking about, because their data is very, very important, whether we keep our data in the cloud or not. Okay. That is the main reason all the clients is not yet adapted to that 12C environment. Okay. So most of the clients now, 80% to 90% of the clients now, they are using the 11G product only, and even some of the clients are using 9A also, 8A also, 10G also. Okay, and this is the 9A version, and you can see what are the things. This is the enterprise edition. I think you are able to see my screen here. This is the enterprise edition. In this Oracle enterprise edition, as I told you, RAC, right, real application clusters, this feature is available in this software itself. That means if any one location, if one instance is down, but we can able, that means end users, end customers can be able to connect to the database from different, like here you are having the Oracle database tier, right? Here in this Oracle database we are having the different instances. I will tell you what instances. Okay. Okay, we are having multiple instances. That means one instance is down, we can able to connect to the database by using different instance. Like now I can tell you what instance is. Instance is like a memory, is like our brain. Okay, that means whenever we wake up, or once our sleep is done, whenever we wake up, our brain is open, right? Our memory is open. That means our instance is open. Now you are listening my class and you start writing in your notebook, right? That means listening information in your brain and listening the information from me and keeping in your brain is the instance where we can keep our data temporarily, right, in the temporary purpose. And you are writing information in the notebook, that is called the database. Here book is the database, our notebook is the database where we can start writing the information. Whatever we are listening, okay, those information will be start writing. That means instance is the one which act as a mediator between the end users and the database. This instance will listen the end users information and will start writing into the database, that is into the notebook. It's like a nothing but a memory, because we are having in the RAM of 4 GB, 5 GB, 8 GB, right? Out of that, Oracle is using some defined, some fixed memory from that RAM as for the doing of Oracle's work, Oracle's database work. That is called instance, that is called memory. And also in this instance, in this memory, where it's like a volatile memory, where we can store our information temporarily, right? If I ask you an example like, hey Suleiman, what movie have you seen last week? Then you can tell, right? Because it is information is in your instance, in your brain. If I ask you the question like, last year, which movie have you seen by this time? Then are you able to see that? Are you able to tell me?
Sometimes.
Yeah, because it's very long time, because in your brain it is not there, it's a volatile one, right? If you want to remember the stuff, you need to go through some document, right, in your database and try to figure out, okay, at the last year in this point of time, which movie have you seen? Then you get the update. Because you are referring the document, you are referring the database here. In the same way, Oracle is defined as a human architecture, human related. Its brain is an instance and notebook is the database. You got my point? Yeah, that is what instance is. That is called memory. Memory plus background processes. Background processes are the one which act as a mediators between the memory and the notebook, and that means in the memory between the database. Right? This is called, now you can see the 9A. These are all the things which has been given by the 9A enterprise edition. There you can see the partitioning. Partitioning is nothing but we are having lakhs of rows in a table. Okay, at that point of time it is very difficult to get the data. The reason is, if we are having the lakhs of rows, as I tell you before, it is in the form of tables or in the form of rows and columns, right? Okay, that means data will be flown like this in the form of first column, next row, then next row. It is like this. If we are having the lakhs of rows in this table, then it will be very difficult to get the 10 lakh row. Okay, and it is very long time process to go through entire table scan, full table scan to get the whole data. At that point of time, we can divide, we can partitioning our tables based on the range. That means 1 to 1 lakh, 1 lakh to 2 lakh, 2 lakh to 3 lakh. Then if we want 10 lakh row, then directly we can go to 9 lakh to 10 lakh partition. From that partition we can fetch the data. By that means it will be helping for us for going to the direction to the partitioning the table directly, instead of going one by one to 1 lakh to, that is from the first row to the 10th lakh row. It is a full table scan, like it is going the data like this. You are able to see here, right? Here like this. Here in this form of like this. At the back end it is going like this, because it is reading each and every row, and it will go to the 10 lakh row. So it's very difficult, right, to get the data in like this. So for avoiding this type of problems, they will come up with one concept called partitioning. By partitioning, like from 9 lakh row to some about 9 lakh row to 10 lakh row, then we can see the data easily in between this table only. Okay, that is the main benefit. And this is clustering, and Oracle has having the feature of advanced security. That means if we are applying the patches, if we are applying any security patches to the database, it will be very secured, and no one can access the data of our database. In this way, they are giving one more option called advanced security. Okay, and one more option is Oracle Enterprise Manager packs. Okay, by using these packs, where we can monitor our database, because our database administrator job is to monitor the database, to update the database, to back up the database, all this kind of stuff, because we need to keep our database all time up and running. That is our main job actually. Okay, and these are the versions of 9A version. See, you can see the version of each release number. This is the 9A major database release number. This is the release number, and this is the application server. As I told you, right, application server is the middleware, where it will connect that. That is the port release number, and this is the component specific number, because the components has been defined. The reason behind this, because if any software is releasing into the market, maybe there is some bugs, right, into that software, because we testers are doing some testing. So what are the bugs that has been released into the market, if any client is facing the issues related with this software, then they are updating to the Oracle market. And that means Oracle people, like, we are facing this issue after your software is updated, after your software is installed. Then for those bugs, they have developed a software, they have upgraded the existing software and come up with next version. That means in the component specific release number, by taking those bugs from different clients, and they start working on those bugs, and they start resolving those bugs. After once those bugs will be released, those issues will be released, then the component specific number release will be upgraded. That means in this particular software only, once the bugs are cleared, then the software component specific release number will be upgraded. Got my point? Yeah. And this is the port specific number. This port specific number is like a network related address. We need to know, before we are connecting to the database, we need to know where the database sits, in which operating system the database sits, and what is the address of the operating system. Then only we can able to connect to the database. This is the port specific last release number. By using this port number, we can able to connect to the database, particular database, by using this address of the database, by using the port number specific. Once the port is enabled to the end users, then they are able to connect to the database. Any doubt here?
No.
Yeah. Now you can see what are the, as a database administrator, you are sitting here, and what is the main work of our database administrator? Okay. The main work of the database administrator is to plan and create a database. That means as a database administrator, we should plan why this database is created, for what purpose we are creating. Suppose if the database is financial database, okay, what data is there into this database, and what purpose we are defining this database, and what name we can give to this database. This type of plan we need to come up with some plan called database creation plan. There we need to understand what things we are placing into the database, how we can take care of it, because this is our baby, because we are creating the database. How great we can take care of our baby. That is very, very important. How we can take care of our database, because we are planning, we are creating the database, we are giving birth to this database. As a database administrator, how can we keep all the time this database up and run? Right, because we are safe, we are keep our baby in all time in the safe zone, right? Our database in the safe zone. That is our database. So for that purpose, to manage database availability, that means database availability means it will be all time up and running, and it will be available to all the end users. It's very, very important. Then only end users can able to connect to the database. If the end users will be able to connect to the database, the business is always good. Okay, so our main task is we keep the database all time up and running. And the third point, the physical and logical structures. Okay, logical structures means I told you instance, right? Before, what instance means, right? This logical structure is very, very important. If the logical structures are not proper, then it will not come able to communicate to the physically located database in the operating system. Right? So we should manage both physical and logical, and to manage security as well. As I told you, our data will be very, very important, as it will not be shown to everyone. So we should give security to our data. So as a database administrator, we should give security to our database as well. And as I discussed you earlier also, network administration is also very, very important. All the operating system is good, our database is good, but if the network operating system, that means network administration is not good, if the network is not speed, then everything will be gone, then the business is also affected. So as a database administrator, you should be able in a position to understand how the network, how the speed of the server, how fast we are getting the data, how fast we are giving the update to the end user. Right? And the next one is backup and recovery. That means all time we can take the backup of our data, because if suddenly any operating system failure will be happen, at that point of time we should be able, whatever the backup, because we always take in one backup, like for every time we should be take the backup. If any operating system will be failure, we should be ready to bring back our database up and running. That means whatever data we lost here, whatever the database is down here, by using this backup, because we need to take the backup all the time of our data, then we should be able to recover our database, bring back the database to all the end users at any point of time. Okay, and database tuning. We should tune our database, because end of the day, if we go to the point of sale any store, you do some operating, because you bought some products. After that, you want to billing. If the billing customer, if the billing person will wait you for long time, then what you do? You will go away, right? Yeah, so at that point of time, our database, because they are doing all the till machine, they are doing all the stuff, and they are updating your billing details. But if it is taking long time for you, then it will be there is a chance to lose the customers also, because all the customers can't be wait for long time in a line, in a queue. Because only when we tune the database properly, when we tune the network administration properly, when we take care of everything properly, then only we can get back the data in a small time, in a very less execution time. In that way, we should tune our database. Okay.
I have one question. Does the backup and recovery topic and section included in the course?
Yes, ARM and recovery, yes. Well, I will show you how to take the backup, how can we recover the database if we lose the data, if we lose the backup also.
Okay. Because I know in the United States,
Because we are using ORMAN, recovery manager. By using this recovery manager, we need to take the backup every day. Okay. So because our data should be, we should always maintain the data in a proper way. That's why we are taking the backup of our database. If any time database will be goes down, by using this backup, we can recover our database. Okay. That I will tell you in the next coming classes, Suleiman, for you. I'll tell you how to do that, and I will tell you the sessions also physically. I can show you in the server itself how we can do that. Okay. Now, as of now, you understand, right?
Yeah. The only thing I have a little bit doubt is the instances. Can you give me like a real scenario where is like the instances so I can understand it better?
Okay. So let me take out about this technical stuff. Okay. We'll talk normally what instances. Okay. So basically, instance is act as a bridge or act as a mediator, okay, between the end user and the database. Okay, this is a bridge. Like as I told you, our brain, right? Our brain is an instance. That means if you are hearing my class, okay, and then starts writing the information into your database, that is into the notebook. That means your brain, our instance, acts as a mediator between the end user and the database, because we are writing the information into the notebook, right? How can you write it? Once you listen our data, once you listen the end user information, once you listen my information, then you are able to write the information into the database, right? It's like an instance, it's like a memory. Memory means where it can listen the end user connections and it will start writing into the database.
Okay.
Okay. That is called brain, where we can, I told you example as a brain is an instance where listens the end user request and start writing them, because if first it will keep the information, end user information, that means any end user flight information, but if first it will store into the memory, that means into the instance, then after that, after some time it starts writing into the database.
Okay. And those things, the numbers that you wrote, 9.2.0.1.
Yeah.
Can you give me like a little bit idea about it?
Yeah, sure. Here you see 9 is the, as I told you, we are having 9A version, 10G version, 11G and 12C, right? Yeah. This is the 9A database, major database at that point of time. This is the old software of which I am talking about. Because the reason why I am choosing this software is I want to tell you the differences between the 9A and what are the differences that we can see in the 11G database. That is the main reason I am keeping here 9A version. Because I want to tell you what are the changes that has been implemented from 9A to 10G, 10G to 11G. Okay. So we can take this as a major database release number, and this is the maintenance release number. Maintenance release number means, as I told you, any maintenance is happening or any changes that has been happened in the software, if you're resolving the issues, okay, those kind of maintenance release number means it will keep on changing up to 991, as you can say 910 or 920 or something like this. Because once we release this software into the market, then if we see any issues or any bugs, you can change these two numbers, 920 and 910, because this is the upgrade actually from 9A to 9A means 910 version to 920 version. That means we are upgrading from 91 to 92. Okay, because any major release, any major changes that has been happen in the software, okay, as a bulk changes we are updating into the, because as a bugs, because as I told you, many clients are giving the issues like we are facing this issue with the software, we are facing this issue, like many clients are by all taking these issues of different people, and it will store it one place, and then they will start working on that stuff. Right? Once they are resolving all the issues, they have told like, okay, we are resolving all your issues, now we are updating that into the next upgraded version, that is 9.2 version.
Okay.
That is called maintenance release number. That's called a maintenance. That means changes, anything happen which are in the maintenances. Okay, and this is the application server release number. Application server release number means this is the standard one. This is the standard application server release number. That means it's a standard one where it acts as a mediator between the end user and the database. This is called application server's release numbers. Okay, this is the standard format. Actually 92O is the standard format because we are not doing any changes in the application server, right? Because our motto is we need to maintain our database only. These 92 and 1O versions only. O also, this is also standard format. The reason behind this is the address part. Platform specific or port number specific. This is because if the port is enabled, then the end users will be able to connect. This is like address of the database where we can find out. Okay, this should be always standard format. This should be, and this component, as I told you, very small releases for any small component. Because in a software we are having different components. Okay, for upgrading the specific components, then we can change the release numbers here. That is very small, minute changes here. If any big changes here, that should be comes into the maintenance release numbers.
That is small one. It will go to the component. Right?
One.
Any small changes, it will go to component, not maintenance.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a bigger one is maintenance. Smallest component related is small component specific release number. Any doubts?
No, very good.
So this is what Suleiman. This is the one where I can give you from the next classes. We can go to the Oracle Universal Installer. How can we do the upgrades? How can we install the software? What Java engine is, and we can go ahead with the systems, all the SQL plus, and what are the these are the database applications where the database and applications can be sit in the single server where all end users will be able to connect here from here. Okay, this is host based, and this is the client server where through application itself by using the network we can able to connect to the database, and the application is in one server and the database is in one server. Okay. And this is the middle tier, as I told you earlier. This is the web browser, as end user will be able to connect by using any application, and it will connect to the app server. This is the middle tier, and it will redirect to the Oracle server where the database sits. From there you can take the information and it will give back to the application server. Application server will give back to the end user the updated information from the database. Okay, this is the middle tier, and this is like any read writes, any changes that has been DML operations, right? We are doing inserts, updates, deletes. Any insertion is going on, any updation is going on, that particular data will be written into the database. This is called the data, updated data. Okay, like you see, we are having disks, right? Before, like CDs. Like we are having the CDs, whenever it is keep on running, spindle is running, the particular data we will be able to read it and will get back the output. In the same way, this is the older one where we can do the read and writes operations, and this is called the data, where we can see the green highlighted color right here. That is the data, and this is the Oracle architecture. As I told you, right, what instance means here. You asked me what instance means. Instance is nothing but a memory, or like our brain. Here you can see instance is nothing but a memory. This is called SJ, is the system global area, which is like a memory where we can take it from the RAM, random access memory in the operating system. Okay, Oracle is defined. Oracle is taken some memory from the RAM to do the work of, to do some functionality of the Oracle database. Okay, if I take an example of Solaris operating system, in the Solaris operating system we are having the RAM, we are having the memory of 64 GB something around. We can take up to 2 GB for our functionality of our database, Oracle database. That's like a instance is nothing but like a memory, like a brain where we can store our information, and not permanently, temporarily. Okay, and these are the background processes. Like our hand is writing the data into the notebook, right? So here hand is the background process. Hand is act as a mediator between the brain and the database. These are the background processes which act as the mediators between the instance plus database. These are the database. Okay, next coming classes I will give you complete architecture, what instance is, complete in depth, how it is, and what are the data files, what is the database here, and how user process will connect to the server process. All this stuff will be given in the next coming classes. As of now, do you have any doubts, Suleiman?
No, I think it's very good.